Okay, now we're going to do what's called a simple stain. And just like it sounds, it's simple in the fact that there's not many steps, okay? As opposed to what you'll be doing next time, which is called a differential stain. Differential stains help you distinguish between different types of bacteria. There's also special stains that we're going to do that look for specific things. But right now we're going to do the simple stain, which means we put on one color and we wash it off and allow it to dry. The reason that we're going to give the bacteria color is so that we can see them under the microscope. If you were to just take the bacteria, put it on the slide, put a cover slip on and look it under the microscope, it's interesting to see because you can see the movement of the bacteria, but they're hard to see because they are colorless. They blend in with their background. So after we fix them, we're going to stain them to give them color. With a simple stain, the purpose of doing a simple stain is a couple things. First of all, it's going to teach you how to properly stain, okay? Second of all, by giving them color, you can actually see their morphology or their shape. You can see their arrangement. Is it diplo? Is it staphylo? Is it strepto? And you can also see its size. So we're going to be looking at 3 different bacteria. They're going to be of different sizes. They're going to be of different shapes and different arrangements. So you'll be able to observe those things. That gives you the foundation to then go on to the next stain, which will be the gram stain when you start doing the distinguishing between bacteria. So we started out with looking at bacteria on plates and things like that and looking at the colony shape. Now we're going to be looking at the actual bacterial shape and arrangement, then we'll start the differentiating. So now we're identifying the different bacteria. Now we have the slides that we previously made smears and fixed. Okay, so like I said, before you start any staining procedure, you will prepare a smear and fix the smear unless the procedure tells you not to. So don't skip the whole part of the last video of preparing the smear and fixing it. So I've already done that, so I'm ready for the staining procedure. There's various simple stains that you can use. Simple stains like these are stains that have a negative charge to them. Have a positive charge to that, which allows them to adhere to the bacteria cells because the cells themselves have a slight negative charge. So these are direct stains because they stain the bacteria. Later we're going to see what's called a negative stain, where it actually stains the background instead of the bacteria. So we're going to use these types of stains like crystal violet, methylene blue, and carbonyl fusion because these are all positively charged stains. The only difference between them is this is going to be purple, this is going to be blue, and this is going to be red. The procedure is the same, but by doing the 3 different stains on our 3 different bacteria, you can get a feel for what different colors look like. So when you're trying to distinguish under the microscope, red, blue, purple, it's going to look a little bit different than what they look like here. Now keeping in mind these are stains, so you want to be wearing gloves. I do not recommend you use the clothespins. It's completely up to you, but I think it just makes it more cumbersome. We have gloves on. We're not wearing our favorite clothes, which I shouldn't be wearing this shirt. Maybe you're wearing a coat or something to cover it up. The word stain does mean stain. It's not just staining the bacteria, it's staining everything. Okay, so you wear gloves to make sure you don't get it on your hands. So basically with a simple stain, all you're going to do is add the stain, let it sit, and you're going to wash it off. Okay? So I'm going to do crystal violet and then methylene blue and then carbonyl fusion. So you just squeeze it and you literally flood the smear. Okay, so wherever the bacteria was, you flood it. This one I just had 1 on. It's the methylene blue. And this one I had 1 on, which is a carbonyl fusion. Now remember we had made the circles. See, I'm already making a mess. You had put the circles on the bottom of it because if you put the circles or marker on top, it will wash out. So make sure when you put your slides up here to stain that the smear is facing up and it's not on the bottom because you'll end up staining the bottom of the slide and it'll all just wash off. Okay, so before you put them up here, make sure the stain is on the upside. Okay, we're going to let those sit for 60 seconds. I've been talking for about 30. So you let them sit for a minute. I'm not going to wait a full minute, but you will wait a full minute. Could even go a little bit longer. It's more to let it go a little bit longer rather than to cut it short. So after it's sat for the minute, you're going to rinse it. So you're basically going to lift the slide up and you're going to spray the water on it. Man, this is a tough water bottle. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but this smear here, you can see the purple, that one you can't. Even though you can't see that, that doesn't mean that it's not there. It just means that there's not as much bacteria there. Do the same with this procedure. With this slide. Man, that is a hard bottle to squeeze. And this one, okay? Now, we're gonna wanna look at these under the microscope. We obviously don't wanna do it wet. You can also rinse the bottom back a little bit just to make sure that there's no stain, excess stain left on the slide, okay? Don't be afraid to put a lot of water on there, okay? Now, it says to dry them with paper. Basically, paper towels work fine. You don't have to have any special type of paper. The only thing that I recommend is that you don't rub it and scratch it off. So what I like to do is just take all of my slides, put them on the paper towel at one time, and then fold it on top of there. And then you just dab it. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Then you just dab it to get the water off, okay? The idea is you don't rub because you've spent all that time fixing a smear. You don't want to rub the bacteria off. So you just want it dry. Now what you can also do to allow it to dry a little bit longer, just to make sure that you don't get any water or stain on the microscope, you want to make sure they're completely dry. Another thing you can do is just kind of prop it up somewhere like you're washing dishes, you put them in a dish rack. You can prop them up here like this and let them air dry a little bit longer just to make sure they're completely dry. Okay, and you can do that while you're getting your microscope and everything out. So that's the simple stain.